don't want to just have the website for one group. It's not.
3Ds for everybody.
Yeah, 3D's for everybody. Anyone can enjoy a good 3D movie, regardless of their political viewings.
Yeah.
It came from the third dimension.
3D Newsbite.
Welcome to a new 3D Newsbite podcast. I'm Adolph. I have with me Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And today, maybe a few hours ago, we got word from Disney that Mulan is not going to have a theatrical US release. Furthermore, it's going to come out on September 4th as a premium rental price for $29.99 plus the subscription costs for Disney Plus. And it seems like some foreign markets are going to still get the theatrical release. Just depends where. It's a little bit hazy right now. There hasn't been like 100% details. I mean, I have the details from a Variety link, and we'll put that in the show notes, but it hasn't been like a press release with everything on there. There was a phone call, and the phone call they mentioned this. So obviously we were not part of that phone call. And obviously 3D is not going to be part of this. So Jake, what's your thoughts on this?
Disney can bite my ass. Each cheek. I mean, $30, bite me. I mean, what a ripoff. This is excessive. I'm sorry your damn parks are closed. I'm sorry your revenue stream, like everybody else's, is in the crapper. But don't take it out on us. I mean, really. This is excessive and extreme. And guess what? I ain't watching it, legally at least. Not at that price. Especially without 3D,
20 is high. 30 is too much. And it's one of those things, too. If you have a family, then I guess that's okay. But wasn't like Scoob like 30, but then you own it? Right? And you have special features and stuff?
It was 25 and you own it.
25.
With special features.
So you got more bang for your buck there than 30 and you rent it and you watch it and that's it,
Yeah, and you got 48 hours. Knowing Disney, you don't even have the 48 hours. You probably got 2 hours.
So this looks like it's a more of a test run to see how it works. We might still get a Asian release. You might still get it in Europe. It just depends on how things are over there, because honestly, here in America, it sucks. And
yeah, so now I'm praying for a 3D Blu-ray release somewhere in the world
to eventually import.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah,
because we haven't gotten 3D Blu-rays from Disney in a while. I think, right? It's only been import.
Yeah, it's been years and years. Yeah, the last one I remember was the second was Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was a Best Buy exclusive.
And so 3D Blu-rays are becoming rarer and rarer to find in America, and you have to import them to get most of them now. And, I imagine that import houses and places will probably charge a ton for this because of that purpose,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, right now it's like 3D Archive releasing restoring old titles and releasing them is the majority of the U.S. releases, which if you can view them, I recommend full-heartedly supporting because they do wonderful work.
Yeah.
And put out titles.
So, okay. One thing about this, too, I have to say it. I've been biting my tongue, and I've been trying not to be political on this podcast, and trying to be as neutral and fair as possible. It's not our job to be political, but sometimes that it happens, and you have to talk about it. And simply put, I blame Trump on this.
Yeah.
I think his management of the pandemic here in America is awful. And we wouldn't be in this situation where this 3D movie doesn't come out here if things were better. And I think, look, I don't want the website to only be for liberal 3D fans or conservative only, or I want everyone to like this website. I don't want to be political, but the fact is Trump screwed the pooch on this, and he shit the bed, and now we're paying for it. We're not being able to watch 3D movies. And, that's a small thing in the world compared to all the people suffering from this disease and the almost over 150,000 people that have died from this.
Mm-hmm.
And we are laughing stock of the world.
Mm-hmm. And I can't even go into Canada to go see 3D releases because U.S. citizens are barred from entering Canada unless they have a specific business. And me going to review a 3D movie doesn't qualify for that. I already asked.
Still, even if there was a pandemic plan that Obama left him that he just threw away. And George W. Bush even had plans for a pandemic. I think things would be better under George W. Bush than Trump. So it's not just it's him, and he his not wanting to wear masks until last month. If he would have said that right away and said, everyone wear a mask. And I don't care if you don't like it. Wear a mask for one whole month, for the entire month of April. We might have been out of this already.
Mm-hmm. We were almost out of this. We quarantined. It just wasn't quite long enough. If we had we needed to stay in and just shut everything down for about 8 weeks, and this might have burned itself out enough that the few cases that would have been gotten, the medical system could have handled, and then we would have did it again for the second wave, and maybe not have to be quarantined as long. And then by the third wave that would have hit in the 2-year span, we would have hit herd immunity and probably, been not that big of a deal. But now God knows what's going to happen.
So,
we're effed.
We're screwed. We are screwed. And his lead is a lot of people. I've read a lot of people say, my mom is a big Trump supporter and they refuse to wear masks because he didn't. It matters. And
yeah, Herman Cain is dead. Every conservative, heck, everybody who follows politics at all should remember Herman Cain.
999.
Yeah, exactly. And he was energetic. I disagreed with his politics, but he was a legit presidential candidate. He had a legit candidacy. He should have been able to run again, but he's dead, and he died from COVID-19. Now, we don't know where he got it. People are presuming it was the Tulsa rally, but we don't know. He could have already been infected when he went, or he could have got it there, or he could have got it another day. We don't know, and we probably never will know. But it's just so senseless and just so sad and just so frustrating. And I really feel for his family and his friends. That's just so horrible, and it shouldn't have happened.
And I feel for all the people that got this disease that can't handle it. We might be lucky. I might be lucky. If I do get it, I probably will survive. I'm not in great shape. I'm not, Olympic athlete, but a physique. I'm a fat guy, and I'll admit that. And I don't think anyone on the team will say that they're 100% physically fit. But all likelihood will probably survive from it. But a lot of people are suffering from it, and they didn't need to. And it just now we can't see Mulan in 3D. And it's gonna cost us $30 to watch it at home
2D
in 2D, which it's like I was only so about watching it anyway, and now it's like I guess I have to do it for the show. But come on, I really don't want to. That's so. And the 3D did look great, too. I saw the trailers for this movie.
Yeah, the 3D looked great. I was looking forward to seeing this in 3D. I was looking forward to seeing Gong Li in 3D as the villain of the piece. I was really looking forward to this in 3D because the trailers looked magnificent in 3D.
And now we may get lucky and get a 3D Blu-ray, maybe by Christmas, maybe in a year. I don't know. It's Disney's kind of playing around with this right now and seeing how this works out. I'm kind of wondering when the whole thing is going to fall apart. not just Disney, but like when everyone else should just say, screw it, we're going to move to 2021 and or later, because I don't see things. There might be a quote unquote vaccine this fall or and soon, but I don't know if I would trust it because it's being rushed. And I trust the scientists, but I wouldn't be surprised if Trump is really trying to get a fake thing out there to get people excited and want him to get reelected. And I think that's something that's very likely that he will try to do. He's desperate to get anything. And he's trying to hawk this hydrochlorine or whatever the hell, stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Don't take that stuff, man. It's like trying to eat. It's about as useful as trying to eat Tide Pods.
I mean, I think there's some medical use for it, but it's not for this. And
it's not for COVID. It's used, I believe, in like lupus and a few other things like that.
Yeah. So
leave it for the people that need it to survive. It's not going to help you with COVID. It's not going to prevent it. It's not going to keep you from getting it or treat it effectively. So don't take it unless your doctor prescribes it to you for another condition like lupus.
So, like I said, I don't want to make this into a political podcast. There's plenty of those already. And I think for the most part, anyone that has listened to us kind of knows our opinions anyway. But it's not really, I don't want to make this a political podcast, but sometimes you're dealt with the cards you got. And we would not be in a situation if we had a competent president, period.
I mean, the fact that movie theaters have been shut down for months. I mean, who knows how many are going to come back?
Yeah.
I mean, and like where I live, they're even being weird about the drive-ins. I mean, a lot of the drive-ins aren't even allowed to open because they can't keep the restroom facilities safe. But some are open, but most of them aren't running new movies.
And the fact that it's Disney is a huge deal. I cannot emphasize that enough. Disney is the number one movie guy in the world.
They have 40% of the U.S. box office.
So guess what? Everyone else is going to follow their lead.
This is probably Disney's response to the deal that Universal and AMC made.
Which we'll talk about in another podcast. But yeah, this is going to be a big deal. And who knows if we're going to have any 3D movies in 2020 anymore in America. Maybe
movie theaters besides some drive-ins.
Yeah.
I mean, this may be the end of movie going. Other than, I mean, it won't be 100%, but I'll give an example. It's like I can remember in the 70s and 80s there were arcades like practically on every block that had retail businesses. Every mall had a humongous arcade. I mean, there are arcades still around, but they're few and far between anymore. The only arcades I go to anymore are arcade bars where I can get decent bar chow and good mixed drinks.
That might be the future of theaters and everything.
Yeah, theaters might become a niche little market, which will mean more prices, and it'll probably be the end of 3D, more or less, unless something happens, some new cool, sexy technology comes out that kids like embrace full-heartedly. That I think is the only hope right now, and that 3D Archive seems dedicated to making sure they get as many old classics out in 3D Blu-ray as humanly possible.
Currently on the website, we do have now hiring. I don't want to mention this, and that we said that we want to hire someone that is outside of the U.S., and this is a primary reason why, because if, what good is it going to do for people if it's, if I could get a UK correspondent and he could review Mulan in 3D, where I can't, or none of us over here can because we're in the US and we're in Trump's America. And
theaters are shut down.
Well, UK is not that much better, but still the point is, maybe there is a correspondent someone that we could have. So if you're interested, definitely apply. It's a free job. I wish I could pay you, but you can be part of the podcast, and having a outside perspective, outside the U.S. might be really good for us. So, and we need it. So if you're interested, apply. The link will be in the show notes as well. It'll be on the website. It's on the website now. So I guess that's basically it. It's frustrating to see this, and it's like, this is a lightning bolt. This is a watershed moment for movies for 2020, and this is going to be a big deal coming the rest of the year. And I honestly would not be surprised if no 3D movies come out in 2020 and everything gets pushed back. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's looking like Onward may be the last U.S. 3D release,
which is very sad.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And since Disney owns Marvel, I don't know what's going to happen with next shooter drop is going to be Black Widow.
Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, New Mutants is still scheduled to come out later in August.
Yeah. So,
but that wasn't. I never heard of that ever being in 3D. So,
and this $30 deal that Disney has, I have Disney Plus right now. They don't have that option. You just pay the $7 a month, and you get access to everything there. So this is a new thing they're going to add on to Disney Plus, and it's going to be out in a month. So it's going to be an upgrade to Disney Plus, or a downgrade, I guess. And
yeah, but the fact is, a whole lot of people who do video on demand don't want to have to subscribe to something to then pay a fee on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, so actually it's more like a $37 rental.
Yeah, because when I rented Trolls World Tour to review that, I paid $20 for it. And it sucked because I only got to watch it and the movie is mediocre. And Jake, you got to rent Scoob and did that podcast. And how much did that cost you?
Oh, I sprung the $25 because then I got to own it and could watch it whenever I felt like it.
And that's the difference.
And did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did it through Amazon. I didn't have to go to pay for something to already do it. I had options and I just picked Amazon because I already had a membership there.
And that's not an option for Disney Plus. I guess there'll be like a 48-hour window or something, and then that's it. And, if you have a family, that's a cool deal. If you have a family of 5 or something, all right, cool. One movie, $30, 35. You may already have Disney Plus or whatever, but still, for regular people, there's a lot of people that don't have work right now. They can't afford that.
Yeah, and our gross national product plummeted. It's the lowest rate it's ever been in the history of keeping records of a gross national product. I mean, it's worse than it was during the Great Depression.
It's like 33% GDP growth downfall or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
So, yeah, this might be the movie for, rich people that have the extra money, but it won't, even going to the theaters was expensive, but not, this is high. This is a high price.
Yeah, a lot of people in the U.S., rent was due August 1st, and they don't have it.
Yeah, there's also a situation where, people will just rent things off Redbox instead or whatever. They won't pay $30 or something. So it's not really, if this succeeds, guess what? Everyone else is going to do this. Warner Brothers is watching and
yeah, they're just going to, you want to see a new movie? It's going to cost you $30 to watch it at home on your TV. And I mean, yeah, I know some people have got great systems at home, but not all of us can afford that. I mean, heck, I would love to be able to afford to upgrade my system, but I look at it this way. Why should I bother when I can't get a new 3D television?
So there's no guarantee that this Mulan's going to get a 3D release ever,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The trailer may be all we get.
I mean, we assume and hope that a 3D Blu-ray comes out, but I mean, if it's already available, Disney may just say, "Screw that." You have to be on Disney Plus, and after and that's it. That's the only way you can watch it. Just like Artemis Fowl. I don't think that ever came out on DVD.
Yeah, I doubt it ever did. I mean, I might get lucky and like Hobbs and Shaw, and it got a 3D release, and I was able to get it on disc. I mean, I might get lucky, but it's becoming fewer and fewer getting lucky these days.
So yeah, those DVDs, DVDs should be extinct already, and Blu-rays are around, and but they're not guaranteed either. A lot of people are totally fine, streaming it, and we may never get a disc version of this, but we'll see.
And there's not really that much streaming of 3D content. I mean, there's Oculus and stuff, but it's still a little too pricey. So hopefully the price on that drops. Vudu and some of these other places that offer streaming 3D get it together where more TVs can, because my LG TV is uncompatible with Vudu.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, we wanted to give you, a podcast about this right away because it's big news, and this might be something that will definitely echo over the months and years to come. So, it was a big deal when Trolls did this, and now that Disney is following doing this too. I mean, that's the we know about Mulan was that it was delayed indefinitely. So we're thinking it maybe 2021 release or something. But now...
And now it's starting to wonder what's going to happen with Black Widow.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for this jam-packed episode. We're not going to try to make politics a big thing of this podcast, but it is what it is. And we have to, whenever politics creeps into our job or our, business.
Yeah. When we thought that the worst politics that was going to hit 3D was the Me Too movement and what it was going to do to the Harry Potter franchise and Aquaman.
Yeah. And so, all right, that's it for us. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D and Mr. Bengal 5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.